Hey, you're probably wondering what's the significance of these two guys that I have up here right now? Two guys who are from two different eras so long ago. We're talking about what, 50s, 60s, 70s, around that area. LeBron, the 2000s or what have you, and fast forward and all that good stuff. But one of the things, what other reason could I be having these two guys on besides what? The GOAT talk? Could we be talking about the GOAT? And why does Wilt get overlooked sometimes? Because they say he played in the era where he was the biggest thing moving and the biggest things going, and the competition that he was going against wasn't up to his part. Yo, you see that guy on the left? Yo, can we say the same thing about the guy on the left? When the last time we seen a guy like that, that big, that strong, that powerful, that fast, and all of that, jump that high? When we seen a guy like that? I mean, I know we seen a 6'9" guy in Magic Johnson. You know, he was Showtime in LA and do all that behind the back. No, look, but he wasn't that fast. He wasn't jumping that high in the sky. It wasn't like that. Should we take anything away from LeBron because he happens to be the biggest and strongest athlete of his era? Should we? I don't know. You should tell me, because all I keep hearing is, well, back in his day, he only played against these centers. And hold on. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Yo, what's that right there? Look like the average center height in 1962 and the average center height in 2020. I don't even know how to calculate that difference. Is the inch millimeter? I don't know. Somebody out there good in calculus or whatever can calculate that, put it in the comment or whatever you want to do. But we see how long ago is that? 48, 68 years, whatever that is ago. Don't look much difference to me. Don't look much difference to me. But what Wilt still was going against then, and what Wilt will be going against now. Let's move on. Just saying. Well, I mean, this dispels the notion that he wasn't going against good competition. That's some really good competition right there. You got Big Billy up in there, 11 rings. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 rings. Walt Bellamy, Nate Thurman, Hall of Famers. The great Willis Reed, Wes Unseld. And we don't even, this is not a conversation about making him the GOAT, so we're not going to go into his stats because, those are enormous. But these are the stats that he accumulated against these guys. Make no mistake about it. So, not good competition, not big guys. We just saw the average height is the same. Wow. Again, I don't know. I see Mike. Mike started to get a little thick in his career too. That was around the time Mike started kind of muscling up to deal with those bad boys Pistons and the New York Knicks teams and a little bit of the Indiana Pacers team that used to try to put a bruiser on them and stuff like that. Because in the East, it was always rugged. Out in the West, nice weather, chill, laid back. East, it was rugged. Look at even Kobe. That was about the time Kobe started putting on some muscle. He had muscle too when he started going through his little journey and all of that. He put on some muscle. What is that? What is that right there? You see that? You see LeBron? You see the difference? You see how it gets Mike, Kobe, boom, LeBron. Look at the picture look at the far right. Look at the far right. LeBron is Diesel. LeBron is brolic in that picture, yo. Bigger, stronger. You couldn't even make the case faster than Kobe and Mike. Real talk. I mean, I know I saw Mike and Kobe get some stuff from behind, but yo, you see LeBron track down stuff and get stuff from behind? Yo, that dude, locomotive type, big, stronger, faster, an evolutionary athlete. Should we hold that against him? That's the same as Wilt, right? Wilt was bigger, stronger, faster than everybody in his day. And theoretically, go look up some of Wilt videos. And in this day as well. Real talk. Wilt was sick. You got to watch the video. You got to watch the video to get the total perspective of what I'm saying when you see Wilt, the high jumper, benching 500 pounds, running up and down the court like a deer. Same thing with this guy. He runs up and down the court like a deer, big, strong. He handles the ball. He has the ball in his hand most of the time. Wilt used to have guys feed it to him. LeBron brings it up. LeBron has it in his hand all the time. He gets a chance to get a full steam ahead. Who's standing in front of that? Who getting up high to even compete with that? Should he be punished? Should we take something away from him for that? IJS. Just saying. And I like Braun. Don't get it twisted. Much respect. Anybody that perform at the highest levels like these guys do and have took on the onus to work hard what they do, nothing but respect. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. Wow. Look at that depiction right there. Wow. Strong. Look at that. What athlete you saw built like that as a PG? What athlete you saw like that, built like that as a PG? Nah, you ain't seen no athlete built like that as no PG. 6'8", 260, diesel. But nah. Should we punish him for this? Should he get punished for this? Is kids gonna be saying like 30 years from now, well, LeBron was the biggest, strongest, fastest than anybody. There was no guards like LeBron out there. You got to understand what guards played like LeBron. What big was like that? If I was that big, of course, because 20, 30 years of my life might be a whole league of LeBrons, yo. Evolution. It might be a whole league of LeBrons. So the kids would be like, yo, nah, but LeBron, he played in the area where he was the only one that was 6'8", 260 and could run and jump like he did. You got mad guys in the league big like LeBron that can do that right now. IJS, I'm just saying. Let us move on. Yeah, man. Show my man the Big Dipper some love, man. Real talk. This dude was, and the crazy part about it was, as a center, it was one year they said, "Oh, you don't pass the ball enough. You don't pass the ball enough, or something." He said, "All right, I'll lead the league in assists." He led the league in assists. I'm not even getting to all the games he played. Barely missed games. He never really missed games. And yo, give my boy the Big Dipper some love, man, for real. Can't exclude him out of GOAT talk because of his size. Because then you have to do that. Well, you have to do that with LeBron, and you know you're not doing that with Bron. Oh, I had to throw this guy in here. You know that's my guy. But even him, should we punish him? Look at the diesel. The guards on him, and that was when like. The height of his joint, I'm presuming. I don't want to say I'm accurate on that picture, but he got all bigger. He looking like that, but that was the height, yo. Like maybe them Laker days. Nobody was bigger, stronger, and Shaq was fast too for his size. Faster than the average. He was faster than a lot of centers in the league. This dude was doing windmills. breakdancing. He was breakdancing. You know, boom, boom, to side, boom, boom. You hit the floor, you twist, and you come up with the windmill, come down. You do several of them in a row. Do them in the All-Star game in the middle of the circle. Windmill and Shaq. Go ahead, Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Big 7'2", 320, 30-pound dude up there doing windmills. Who doing that at that size in the league when he was doing him? Should we punish him? Should we punish him for what he was doing? Because he was dominating. Remember, that Orlando Magic team was in the finals. Don't get me wrong, the team was stacked with Scott, you know, all those guys, and Hardaway, Nick Anderson, Shaq, Horace Grant, but Diesel. Straight up. So should we punish the Diesel? Of course not. Of course not. So we cannot punish Wilt the Stilt. We cannot punish Wilt the Stilt for being the biggest, baddest guys on the planet. We cannot. Yeah, man. You can't. I'm saying he's a reflection of each other during their time in a different position. Center, point guard. Flat out. So we can't punish either one of these guys. So Wilt should not, again, I repeat, Wilt should not be left out of the GOAT conversation because of supposedly the inferior opposition at that time he was facing. And I showed you a slide earlier where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Nate Thurman, Willis Reed, Wes Unseld, Bellamy, all those guys that he went up against too was some HOFers. There were some mother HOFers. Oh, some mother effer HOFers. Straight up. So in conclusion, yeah, let's not take anything from the Big Dipper, Wilt, the Stilt, Chamberlain. He has to definitely remain in that conversation of the GOAT, and if not the GOAT, that's a whole nother topic for a whole another time. Yeah. So what I'm going to do for your viewing pleasure is I'm going to put a highlight of Wilt Chamberlain here for you, for your viewing pleasure, so you can see for yourself. A lot of people haven't taken the time to ever really watch a highlight of Wilt, but I'm going to put one in here for you for your viewing pleasure. Stay tuned. I want you to check it out, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'll turn it too loud here. Don't want to bust nobody's eardrums. Here we go, y'all.
Coach, one of the best plays to get the pick and opposed to passing it over there.
Well, I should make that clear then. If the pass is not there or somebody else is open.
He was superhuman on the basketball court and everywhere else.
One sports writer likened the first sight of Wilt to the first sight of the New York City skyline. It was majestic, whether seen from up close or afar. You just kind of went, wow.
Wilt was a Paul Bunyan figure, mythic in what he could personally do.
He was Goliath, the strongest basketball player that ever lived. The case closed.
He played a game against the Detroit Pistons. In the game, he blocked 26 shots
on the 55 rebound game. How about that against Bill Russell?
Wilt won 7 scoring titles. He won 9 shooting titles. He won 11 rebound titles. And then he led the league in assists one year.
When he was in the latter part of his career, the news media or somebody would walk up to him and say, you can't score anymore. 50, 60, then they go back to passing the ball or whatever. And if you challenged him, that just took him to another level in terms of, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. It's not possible for any human being to do the kinds of things that he was able to do.
In an 80-game season, he played 79 complete games. He missed 8 minutes of one game because it got thrown out. Other than that, he played every moment of every one of those games.
That was inconceivable to us. How the hell do you stay so strong all season? How do you avoid fouling out? How do you take a beating every night with guys pushing you, punching you, grabbing you, and come back the next night fresh as a daisy? How the hell do you do this, Will?
Just one game, 48 minutes a game is really enough, you know what I'm saying? But playing a whole season, 48 minutes a game. I mean, when I look back in retrospect, I said, what were they doing to me? Jesus, there must have been some time when I could have gotten arrested.
50 points a game. That's right. 5-0. 50.
Man's averaging 50 points a game. He's averaging 50. A bad night is 44.
He'd get 63. He'd get 70. I mean, miraculous things. We were in awe of what he was doing out there against the best players in the world.
Michael Jordan scored 50 or more points 31 times in his career. Impressive. Wilt did it 45 times in one season.
You know, Wilt played guard with the Harlem Globetrotters, and I guess he's the first and last 7-foot guard in the game of basketball. But we wanted him to handle the ball more because that's what the people came to see.
Wilt Chamberlain was another one that I met and trained with. Wilt Chamberlain.
You trained with Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain, he came to the gym and he would do a tricep extension. Like the big guys, the strongest guys, would do, let's say, 120 pounds, let's say, tricep extension, pulling down, right? He would come and he would do 150, 170 pounds. Wilt Chamberlain. That's how strong he was.
They always said he was by far the strongest person who's ever played in the NBA.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
I remember that he lifted me up like with one arm like nothing. I remember Andre the Giant, the professional wrestler, who was a very good friend of mine, and Wilt Chamberlain. We both went out for dinner several times in Mexico City when we did the movie down there, the Conan movie. And, you know, both of them would just, you know, pick me up always. They were both joking about who can pick me up and make me look like lighter and like a little fly. And that's it, because they were so powerful.
It's just hard for people to fathom what we talk about when we say what he did. He did things that just defy description. I can remember plays that he made that when I would talk about him, people said, no, he couldn't have done that. And I'm telling you, it's something that I saw. He was just a great, great basketball player.
And I run across people who say to me, well, Shaquille weighed 50 to 75 pounds more than Wilt, and he would be able to do whatever. Wilt would take Shaquille O'Neal and move him around like he was a rag doll.
But Chamberlain rebounds and scores. High pass to Wilt, who dunks it. To Chamberlain, and 2 points. The league's leading scorer banks it in there. His shot goes up and in. Block on this play. He's a tough man in there.
Oscar Robertson passes to Wilt Chamberlain, who jams it in. Bounce passes to big Wilt Chamberlain. And it's a basket.
Well, I believe Wilt Chamberlain proved himself this year to be the greatest player in the history of this game of professional basketball. We've known for years that Wilt could score with the best of them and establish scoring records. One year he even averaged 50 points a game, and in that year even had a 100-point effort in one single game. But this year Wilt got the goal that he wanted. He won the whole thing. He proved to everyone that he's a winner and that he can play on the greatest team, play center for the greatest team in the history of this game of basketball. Wilt has the power, the strength to get the rebounds. This year, his defense was unparalleled, in my opinion, playing a team type of defense and offense. We weren't relying upon Wilt to do all of our scoring for us. We relied on Wilt to play the center position and open things up so everyone could score. And I've got to say this, when we got in trouble, Wilt may not have scored a great many points through the whole year, but when we got in trouble, we did go to the big guy and he responded with the big points when we needed him.
Now, of course, Wilt is much stronger than both of them, so he will muscle and do a better job in close. Looking ahead to the World Series playoffs with Philadelphia, we figured that we're going to have numerous problems, starting with Wilt Chamberlain, who naturally is the most devastating player in the league right now. He's so big and strong and will upset your patterns. Almost any play you try to run it around Wilt Chamberlain.
But the greatest scorer in NBA history can still hit the hoop. In fact, Wilt became the first player ever to shoot over 70% for a full season. And for the 11th time, he led the league in rebounding.
Much comment has been made on the change in Chamberlain's style. From loner to an integral part of a five-man team is quite a jump, even for Wilt. Alex Hannum.
This year, I was fortunate to take over a team that had the talent that allowed Wilt to play the style of ball he did this year. It was not necessary for him to score in order to win. It wasn't necessary for him to carry the whole load offensively. He had the type of talent to play with, and this gave me all kinds of weapons.
But the weapon the fans still love most is the stuff. Wilt style.